I was saying, the clubs are the heart of Toastmasters. And what I want to do is I want to send you guys to a breakout room. Those breakout rooms are random. And I want you to talk about the characteristics of a successful club. You are going to have 5 minutes to do this. Kristen, can you send them to breakout rooms now? Uh-oh, you're muted.
Yes, so all you want them to do, just to clarify, is to brainstorm
characteristics of a successful club.
All right. I am sending you to a breakout room, talk about characteristics of a successful club for 5 minutes, and then I will bring you back.
So please accept the send you to a breakout room. Sandra, did you go to one? Sandra, accept your invitation to a breakout room.
I think it's going well.
Well, ask them what makes a good successful club.
Well, I figured I'd be overtime on mine, and then I ended up way under time. So,
Christopher, what club are you in? Brilliant. I haven't visited that club. I need to do that.
what are we covering after this lesson?
After we get done with this one, we're all done.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm just, that's why I tried it this morning, Kristen, is because I didn't want that to be part of the issue. Are we still recording?
Yes, I was about to say, anything we say right now is being recorded. So just FYI.
I just wonder how it cut it like that. That's what was so weird. It was like half the slide was gone, but half the other side was there. It was just odd.
I found with mine, if I tried to use the little pad to move the slide, sometimes it would jump and move 2 slides. So I just use the enter button. That way I know it's only going to move 1 at a time.
Well, and I'm glad we're on Zoom because I think my zipper just had issues.
You guys should stop the recording. I mean, come on.
Well, she can make sure you clip the recording before you post it anywhere.
Yeah, wardrobe malfunctions. I got tickled. One of the ladies said, I've been so used to Zoom that when I go out in public, I keep remembering I have to comb the back of my hair.
I've almost walked out of the house in my slippers a couple times because I'll be dressed but have my slippers on. Like, oops.
Yeah. In some ways, I'm getting spoiled. In some ways, I look forward to meeting in person again. So I kind of go back and forth.
Agreed.
Morelli House is hybrid. So we were at Los Cucos on Thursday night.
I think Jesse put on Facebook that Dana has COVID.
He did, or Dana did. Dana sent it.
Oh, Dana.
I thought she said she was waiting for her results. So it
came back positive.
Oh, it did. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's asymptomatic. I mean, no, it's not good, but hopefully it's asymptomatic and she, finishes her 2 or 3 weeks and she's, it's scary times.
So I showed we're at 1:30 when I sent him in there. So I'll bring him back at 6:30.
You can cut it short if you want, whichever works.
We're at 4:30 right now.
Okay. You're going to have to teach me how to clip.
I just send stuff to Jennifer, and Jennifer does magic things and creates magic things. You guys couldn't have picked better for program for PRM.
Okay. I wonder if she'll run for CGD.
I kind of hope she does, but like I'm thinking Nadia also. Either one would be good.
I tried to get Nadia to do something this year, but she was busy with the Democratic Party. So maybe now that that's over, she'll.
Oh, it'll never be over. It'll just be in court forever.
I don't know. So far, the 5 he tried to take to court, the judges were like, "No, you have no proof." So.
Oh. Oh. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Crazy times. You know, they don't make it user friendly to find all the pathway stuff. I thought it should have one interactive list where you go, oh, what's the DTM project? And you click it and it puts you over there. What's the club success plan? And you click it and you put you over there. It's like all this stuff's all over. It was kind of embarrassing to say, well, go here and then go there. But until I looked at the application, then I started realizing, oh, wait, there's more. Like the club success plan. I don't think hardly any clubs do it. Do your clubs do the club success plan each year?
That's what we're
does.
That's
Oh, it
what
does?
we're talking about. In
My
this
club does it,
presentation.
but we do it as a executive board. Like we split it up based on which sections are education versus PR. And all right, I'm going to bring them back now.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep contact me. You got my email address. Because we're leaving this room. Bye. We have 2 more members for
Carol, that was awesome. Great idea. Thank you.
Well, I'm trying. We're working on some things. So with that, what did you guys discover? Anybody want to talk to me?
Do you want us to just call out our list or one thing?
Sure.
2 things? What? Okay.
Call out your list.
We had a good long list in breakout room 3, I think it was. Officers are engaged and active in leading the club. The meetings are well organized. Quality evaluations are given during meetings. The general environment of the club is welcoming to members and to guests. Agendas for meetings are prepared before the meetings. All members are enrolled in pathways and pursuing goals actively. The club meetings are fun. That clubs are continuously engaged in growth and recruiting new members. That the club has developed and implemented a club success plan. And clubs know how to use meeting software, Zoom typically. Their free Toast Host site is up to date and can be found easily. That the members are participating in speech contests, and that there is recognition of achievements for club members.
Great.
Wow. Meeting room 3 did a fantastic job. Are there any of the other meeting rooms that would like to add anything to that list?
I think the only thing we had that wasn't on that list, and by far we did not come up with such an extensive list, we had good communication between the club officers and other appropriate members in between meetings, and getting that dialogue going kind of throughout time as opposed to just at meetings.
Fantastic. Anybody else got anything?
Yes, Carol, I do with breakout room 5. We had some really good input as far as keeping the order of the meetings, as far as getting engaged in pathways. And one really good tip was particularly about a leader who understands the engagement of meetings, keeping them fun. She understands the DCP. So she really sets the tone as president for the rest of the club meetings, keeping things organized. So really having that leadership that understands what's required, what our expectations, what our objectives are, is really beneficial to helping get the whole ship online. So I thought that was a really good one, how to have a successful club. Thank you.
Nice. Do any of these ideas go with what you just talked about? First impressions. Clubs ensure that guests' experiences and observations become first impressions that encourage them to return. Clubs acquaint new members with the Toastmaster education and recognition program, their responsibilities to the club, and the club's responsibility to the member. Working with clubs to offer a warm and friendly and supportive environment that encourages enjoyable learning. Now, again, Smedley says that you learn better when you're having fun. Club meetings are carefully planned and well-prepared speakers and use evaluations. We also have clubs have sufficient numbers of members to provide leadership and fill meeting and committee assignments. Clubs participate in meetingship building and retention practices, and clubs monitor members' progress towards goals, submit completed awards, applications immediately, and constantly recognizes members' achievement. With all of that being said, how often are you holding a moments of truth with your clubs? Is anybody holding moments of truth with their clubs? I got one. All right. Do you have your workbooks that were sent out to you? If not, Kristen's going to drop the workbook in the chat. And what I want you to do right now is I want you to go back into your rooms, and I want you to discuss on page 5:5 for 10 minutes how these characteristics that you have come up with can relate. Does everybody have the workbook accessible in the chat?
No, I don't see it.
No, I'm trying to navigate to it. The problem being, actually, I think I did your workbook from my work computer, which might make that more difficult. Hopefully, oh, please hold. I emailed them all to you guys, so as long as one person from your group has it, you should be fine. But while you're in there, I will find it and put it back in the chat just in case you.
But how do we navigate from the shared screen to our email where you emailed it to us? I'm not computer literate, so I'm lost.
You can minimize your shared screen, the Zoom screen. And it should allow you to go to your email to open it up.
How do I minimize it?
In the top right corner, I believe there are a couple of pages that look like they're stacked on top of one another. You can click that and it should shrink.
That did not happen. A calendar came up.
Oh, well, we'll stop sharing for the moment, which could be dangerous because if I go back to sharing, is it going to take me back to where I need to go?
I hope so.
Came up.
All right. I'm going to put you guys in the breakout room. And while I'm doing that, I will navigate and post her workbook in your chat.
Jean, are we back to good stuff?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot Rick Sparrow and Maria to put them in chat rooms.
They may just need to accept it.
Oh,
So I think that first thing a person walks in and sees is club room. I think if you have a club room that you have 15 people in, you can't fit 3 more in, you're in trouble. So the first thing I think they notice. I think the first thing that they notice is
Gene's talking away, and all of a sudden he says, "Oh, I'm muted. No wonder nobody's listening to me." Oh, uh, well, I'm looking forward to the training on the 21st with the hybrid meetings and that kind of thing. That'll be good.
That's the plan. So Jean, if I hit this, you can see the next one.
Yeah, perfect. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what was causing that, because I think what we had was half of the big slide, and then a sliver of your next slide in your viewer presentation. But we only had half of each. It was kind of odd.
Well, that's why technology sometimes doesn't go the way you want it to. But I did practice it this morning to make sure that it did what it was supposed to.
Mm. Mm.
I will definitely need to clip this before we put it back out there.
So a Texas club has challenged us to either a game of Jeopardy or a game of Pictionary, and I can't find any clubs that want to be challenged and have fun. So he said, well, just find people. Maybe we could just have a group of people. So okay, but I'm still asking, just more for fun. I mean, obviously for fun. It's not a Toastmaster meeting. It'd just be for fun.
When are they thinking about doing it?
The evening of the 18th. Like 5 or 6 p.m. our time. I can pin down the time. I think it's what happened is his club, it's Sean Horn. He's one of our watchers on Wake Up with Toastmasters. He's in a corporate club, and the same corporation has 2 clubs because, of course, they met separately and in person before. So the 2 clubs challenged each other to Pictionary, and they invited us along, and we had a nice time and laughed and had a lot of fun. So now he said, well, why don't our 2 clubs in our district challenge 1 or 2 of your clubs in your district? I said, okay. So I just try to find people now who just want to go and have fun. I think I'll
Well,
find them. It's just getting them there.
The 18th is when I have my program quality regional meeting.
Well, I gotta get that on my calendar. My stupid phone, I took it into the shop. I paid the money. They put a new part in. I think they put a defective or a used part or something. So now I'm back to nothing again. I'm gonna just buy a new phone and then still make them fix that one and use it as an inexpensive tablet or something.
That works.
It's just annoying because I have no phone. So
I don't know what I would do with no phone right now.
you feel really weird and naked at first, and then finally you kind of go, oh, this isn't horrible. And I still have email, so it's not hideous, but it's not great either, because when I got my phone back the last time and it worked for 2 days, it took me a whole day to get through all the texts and all that kind of thing. And then I thought, oh, they're good, it works now. No, just yeah.
Are you going to use the breakout rooms again, or was this the last one?
I think we have one more breakout room towards the end.
How do you put people in breakout rooms?
Only the host can do it, I think, or maybe the host and the co-host.
Mm-hmm.
I think
But
it's just
they're-
host.
Yeah,
So is when they're in the upper right, is it one of the more choices?
No, you have to set up the breakout rooms ahead of time. Like she told me, she wanted them random. So I set up 4 breakout rooms and I just like went down the list and assigned them like 4 to each room.
Mm.
But sometimes it depends on how you want to set them up.
How do you set up the rooms ahead of time?
Well, you have to be in the meeting to do it. So I have to close the rooms now, but I'll go over it with you.
Okay. Yeah, like, because I mean, obviously at some point I'll need to learn how to do it. So someone had asked earlier when you were doing contests, what if they only have the free Zoom that only gives them 40 minutes? How can they do their contests?
We're going to set those up. We're
Oh,
going
okay.
to use the district account for all the area and division contests.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
why we need to know the times.
Okay.
Everybody's coming back.
All right, fantastic.
Great seeing you guys again. Nice working with you.
Wow, check it out. People are coming back. Woo woo. Gotta have some fun. It's a Saturday. A Saturday in Vegas.
Carol, I never did see that pop into chat, that file.
Okay, well, everybody should have gotten their manual in advance. And being a school teacher, I made the assumption that you guys all had them and would have access to them. I failed to think that sometimes they get lost in email or people are needing assistance in how to open, et cetera, et cetera. So I will work on that as I continue with my trainings.
Yeah, totally my fault. I get like 3,000 emails. It's hard to catch them all.
Look at the chat right now. That file should be the last file in the chat.
Can't open it. I mean, you open it, but it's just what they offer in TI as something to purchase. It's not a book that you can open up or a file that you can open up and go through.
It does on mine. I guess it depends on your computer.
Okay. Again, more lessons to learn. I'm assuming that you guys had some great experience with working with those characteristics and with the successful clubs. Because of our technical issues at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and push forward and ask you the question.
It's in the chat.
All of the distinguished programs have at least one qualifying requirement. The qualifying requirement must be met in order for eligibility in the distinguished recognition. Does anybody know what that requirement is? Dun, dun, dun.
Membership.
Exactly. The club must have 20 members or a net growth of at least 5 new members by June 30th. What does it mean to have a net growth?
5 members more than your base.
Yes, exactly. The membership net growth occurs when the total number of club members at year end of June 30th exceeds the base amount. And sometimes this gets a little confusing because people get mixed up and we don't want them to do that. How do we find out what the base is? Does anybody know where to find the membership base for their clubs?
It's right on the Distinguished Club Program page.
Exactly. So it is out there and available for everybody to know where they stand. The membership base refers to the number on July 1st of club members renewing, new, charter, dual, and reinstated who are paid through their April dues. Now we have one more little breakout that I want you to do, and I want you to see and I actually pulled it up here just in case people ran into issues. I thought ahead this time, but maybe we won't send, let's not send to breakout rooms. Let's take a moment to read this and you decide and give me your decision as to whether or not this club is going to be distinguished. If it's going to meet that requirement for the base numbers. So I'll be quiet and give you 1 minute. I think
You really are a math teacher, aren't you?
I am.
I don't see the question. Oh, it's just a scenario.
It's just a scenario.
Not a problem.
I call for the question.
The question is, does this club meet the requirements of being 20 members or a net growth of 5?
Well, what happened to Jerry, Joel Jabber Jerry? Just said he took a new job. It doesn't say whether he left or joined or renewed.
He left.
My question is whether or not the two that came back count as new members, or are they returning members?
New members, returning members, doesn't matter. They renewed their membership.
The members who transfer in do not get counted unless they've paid their dues to that club.
That is the key. That is the key. This club does not meet the requirements. They had 19 members, but they only had a net growth of 4.
Had 15.
At the end, they have 19. Let me correct. Thank you. The two that came in are transfer members, and because they paid their April dues to Bombastic's Barker Club, they are not counted. Therefore, this club does not qualify for the Distinguished Club program. So please make sure that if you're talking to your clubs, you stay on top of that and understand how all of that lays out.
So it's not really members, it's not actually active members, it's membership payments.
Basically.
Yes.
So they're not a part of the club if they just transferred. They didn't transfer any funds.
Correct. They have not transferred they have transferred their membership, but not their membership payment. And I don't think we have very many people in the Valley that transfer their memberships like that. So I don't think this is going to be a huge issue for us.
I would say if you have people come in that want to transfer their membership from one club to another, say, hey, why don't you just pay your dues here and stay in both clubs?
There's a very good idea also. There's a very good idea also.
Then you get to count them.
Right. So now that we're moving into talking about distinguished, what are the educational goals that a club should strive to achieve? Do we know them?
Well, it's the pathways.
It's all pathways. You need 4 members to complete level 1, 2 members to complete level 2, 2 more members to complete level 2,
That makes 4.
2 members to complete level 3, one member to complete a level 4 or 5, and one member to complete a level 4 or 5. These are 4 or 5s. They don't have to be one of each. What are the remaining DCP goals? Anybody know?
Membership.
Submitting club officer list on
Member-
time, membership dues renewal payment on time.
And officers trained.
Yep.
And officers trained. Check that out. Our area and division directors know their stuff. Woo woo. That means they can share it with their clubs and help them prepare. Our distinguished club program. If we have a distinguished club, how do we know that they're distinguished?
Dashboard.
The big question, to be distinguished, they have to have 5 of the goals met. To be select distinguished, they need 7 goals met. And to be president's distinguished, they need 9 goals met. We're back to making you think. Here is a club and all of the things that they have done. Do they qualify for distinguished? And if so, what kind? So take a moment to read that. It's also in the workbook if it would be easier to read out of the workbook.
What did they start off with?
It doesn't say how many they started off with. We're going to assume, well, down here they have 25 members.
Okay. June
They
30th.
keep the membership.
It starts in July, May, June, July, August.
So looking at this, you've been given a moment or a minute to read this. Does this club qualify for membership or for distinguished?
Looks like it.
It looks like it. Are they just distinguished or are they something more?
Looks like.
Do you see that they have met multiple goals and they are select distinguished?
Yes.
All right, let's look at this one.
No.
Are they distinguished or not? You've got a pathway level 1, a level 1, another level 1. You've got new members. They made it to distinguished. Let's look at one more example. What level of distinguished did this club achieve? They achieved President's Distinguished. All of those are goals that they have met. Let's talk a little bit about the Distinguished Area Program, because that's where some of you guys currently are. To be considered for recognition, areas must have no net club loss. Areas must submit their area director club visit reports for 75% of their clubs for the first go round in November 30th and 75% for the second go round of May 31st. Now, my question to you is, do we understand that some of you have not yet submitted your area directors reports? Right now, I only have 2 that have submitted 100% of them, and I have 1 other that has submitted 75% of them. In order to be acknowledged as a possible area for distinguished or better, you have to submit those area directors reports. A net club loss is one of those things that we have at least 2 clubs in each division that are in jeopardy. We need to make sure that we work together to pull those clubs out and make sure that things are running in a positive manner. I know that many of you have seen this area director's report. The form that guides the area directors in evaluating club quality during these visits by assessing the club at each of the moments of truth. If you need help filling this report out, please let me know. I would be happy to help you do it. You are our connection with each of the clubs so that we know how to help the clubs. The base number is the number that has paid clubs as of July 1. And one thing that we have discovered is, unfortunately, that base moves a little bit. If we have a club that hasn't been paid and in good standing as of July 1, if they get up to being paid before September 30th, then that changes our club base. So keep that in mind, as those clubs that are under 8 need to be acknowledged. And they are in good standing if they have 8 or more paid members. We really need to work on developing our membership. That is one of the things that we are struggling with in our district. We have ideas out there. If you need the sheet that I had last year, I can send that out to you on different ways that we can look for membership. Our distinguished area program. An area with distinguished clubs equal to at least 50% of its club base is a distinguished area. An area with distinguished clubs equal to at least 50% of its club base plus 1 more distinguished is select, and an area with distinguished clubs equal to at least 50% of its club base and 1 more distinguished and a net club growth of 1 is President's Distinguished. I would love to see a whirlwind come through and bring all of our areas up to at least distinguished. That means that we've got 50% of our clubs that are distinguished or better, and that we have a 0 net club loss. Same thing happens with the division. With the division, the net club loss is something that we need to keep in mind. We cannot let it go. We can't just say, oh, well, we'll forget about that club. All clubs are worthy of being saved. We need to work with them to figure out what we can do. I think you understand the definition of net club loss, and it's when it falls below our base number on June 30th. The division's club base number is found in our dashboard. And clubs are considered to be paid when they've submitted and completed April dues. We need to keep track of this. How many of our division directors are looking to be a distinguished division? I think all 4 of them are. And they can't do it without you area directors because they rely heavily on you. A division with distinguished clubs equals at least 40% of the division's club base makes it distinguished, 45% makes it select distinguished, and 50% makes it president's distinguished as long as the division has a club net growth of 1. Now, I know that we had talked about the club success plan a little bit earlier. I think it would be very important for you to reach out to your clubs and make sure that they're doing this. If we don't plan, then we're planning to fail, or basically a failure to plan is a plan to fail. Take time to evaluate what's going on. There are also area and division success plans. Planning is essential for success. The area and division success plans help evaluate current situations and establish specific goals. They develop strategies that can be used to achieve success. The plans identify resources to use in that effort. And the plans call for area and division teams to identify the assignments, develop timelines, and track accomplishments. I believe I heard at least one of the division directors talking about their success plan. If you take time and put those together, I would love to see them so that maybe I can add an extra point of view to anything that you've put out there. There are many districts that encourage area and division directors to stretch the goal. I think we need to focus a little bit more on our immediate rather than stretching it out too far. We need to work with our clubs. We need to work with our members. We need to make sure that each member is accomplishing what it is that they joined Toastmasters for. With that being said, what did we learn? We learned about moments of truth. We defined roles of the area and division directors. We talked about the Distinguished Club program. We talked about the importance of success plans. And we talked about the recognition program. The Distinguished Club program is the foundation of the district's recognition program. The Distinguished Area, Division, and District programs align with the Distinguished Club program. It's important for areas and division directors to be aware of the goals of the clubs in their areas and divisions to know how to best support them. By completing these success plans and reviewing them regularly, clubs, areas, and divisions can more easily stay on track for the Distinguished Club program. Areas and division directors can have access to the number of resources for tracking progress towards Distinguished Club. I feel like that was super rushed. We didn't get to all the breakouts because I want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have about the Distinguished Club program or about Moments of Truth. I'm going to stop sharing and open the floor to you. What do we have? Anybody have any questions?
Carol, this is Robin. I just had a comment.
Yes.
Yes, I thought that the information you provided us was very thorough, and you allowed us to see how everything works from the beginning and the end with the recognition and the programs and success plans. You really gave us a really good overview because it's important that we understand how things work, then we're able to explain or communicate that to the club officers and leaders. So it's very important, and you really helped us with some resources so we'll be able to communicate better with our leaders as leaders, understanding what we're doing. So I thought the way you handled it, the breakout rooms, the conversations and questions was very well done. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin. Jean, is that you?
That is I. In one of the breakout sessions, we talked about how clubs used to be. You would have somebody come in and sit with the new member and whisper in their ear all about Toastmasters. And in one of the manuals, it was a project to befriend a member. We're missing that now with Zoom. There's no way to do that. How are you getting that connection that we're missing from not meeting in person with Zoom with that new member?
Malik, did you want to answer that question for him?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that came up in one of our clubs is on Zoom, they introduce a guest or a new member to someone else in the room and encourage them to private chat during the meeting. And it's sort of like that sit next to a guest kind of thing. And so you do get the chance to have that one-on-one, and you let them know it's okay. You know, of course, you don't want to have comments flying in the general room while the meeting's going on, but feel free to chat back and forth with me if you've got questions, or I'll let you know if something wasn't clear about what's going on. So that's one way of doing it.
Kristen.
Other thing, if you have guests, encourage your vice president of membership to meet with the guest after the meeting to go over any questions they had and actually invite them to join. You can use a breakout room to do that. If we have a lot of clubs that they tend to stay in the room and chat about personal things afterwards. If that's your club, that's awesome because you're getting that socialization, but maybe send the VP of membership and your guests over into a breakout room so that they can talk and answer questions. And that gives them the opportunity to do that. A lot of times what we forget to do is invite the guest to join our club. You know, it's like, oh, what did you think? Or, you know, we ask for feedback, stuff like that, but we never actually say, we're inviting you to join our club. And so I think you need that piece. So make sure your VP of membership has a plan for how to do that.
Agreed 100%.
One club. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Carol. That was awesome, great information. What I'm wondering, or what I'd like to get confirmation on, is the most important things for us as division and area directors and interacting with the clubs right now. Would you say pursuing moments of truth with the clubs, pursuing the distinguished club plans with the clubs, and perhaps setting up area council meetings so the area directors can actually interact with the club officers? We're trying to figure out what are the most crucial things for us to be doing with the clubs right now. I mean, there's so many things going on, but you know, just to try and focus ourselves on 2 or 3 top priorities to help the clubs. So I just kind of wanted to see what your thoughts are on that.
I think that making sure that each club feels that they have connection to somebody that can answer questions about their moments of truth or about how things are going. So making sure that they have a plan, checking with them to see if they have a plan, and providing them with resources to help them with that plan to be successful. Because if it starts at the base with the club success plan, it will build from there.
I also wanted to say, it really depends on your club. And as area directors, that's where really getting to know your clubs is important. That's why visit them as often as you can, because your clubs are not cookie cutter and there's no cookie cutter approach to helping them. Because how you would help a club that has 25 members become president's distinguished is different from how you help a club with 6 members just survive the year and get up to the 8 that they need to not be suspended. So you kind of have to look at it, and for that 8-member club, maybe Moments of Truth is what you need to focus on for them. With the 25 members, it might just be working their plan, because that club, as much as it sounds like it's a great club, it could have just as many problems, because if you're willy-nilly all over the place with people doing levels and nobody's paying attention to what you actually need to become President's Distinguished, you can have 25 members and still not be a distinguished, or let alone a President's Distinguished club. So for them, making sure they have the plan, they know their path to distinguished or better, and that they're actually planning out who needs to do speeches for us to get there, then that might be your focus for them. So just get to know your clubs. Area directors and division directors rely on your area directors to give you that information so that you know how to help.
Exactly. Jean, go ahead.
So I have 2 things. First, you're talking about inviting guests. One of our clubs that's very successful starts off the meeting saying, "Don't worry if we're going to ask you to join or not, we will." And they make it a fun joke. You know, I think we're a little too timid when we go to someone and say, "Hey, would you like to join our club?" We need to do something better than that. The second thing is the smaller clubs where we're down below 12. I'd like to see our larger clubs befriend that club and send members over as guests to that club and help that. We need to work as a division, as a district, as everything combined to support our smaller clubs and get them going. We're really looking for somebody to run that program that Jean was doing last year with the club support team, and we don't have anybody running that at the moment, so we don't have the team put together. So we really need that for our district, and I think that the 2 things, that big club supporting a smaller club and the club support team going, would really make this a lot easier to build our clubs.
Agreed.
That's all.
That's a great idea, Jean. And also I've seen, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've seen emails and posts on Facebook of clubs that have speaking spots available, because we have people in bigger clubs that have trouble getting in enough speaking spots to get their levels met, where we have other clubs that have no speakers for their meetings. So those people can team up if you just plan ahead. Whoever's the VP of Ed for the smaller clubs, if you don't have any speaking spots filled, try to get out ahead of it 2 or 3 days ahead. And if you know you're not going to have any, then post on Facebook, "We have a speaking spot available, looking for a guest speaker," you know, those types of things, because usually you'll be able to find somebody who can help you out. I know Jean sent out an email on Thursday. Z Toasters was going to have very low membership that night. And so he sent out a call to a bunch of people, if you can come and, you know, join. Unfortunately, I had another meeting, but I think he had some takers and they got a few more people. So make sure
we definitely need help.
Make sure your clubs are communicating their issues and asking for help when they need it, because it's available.
Yeah. If anybody wants a role, let me know. If you don't know my email, ask anybody else. Yeah, I'm out there, way out there usually.
Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat. All right.
We have reached our 1 o'clock, which means that we have successfully completed our 3rd district officer training for District 115. Woo, woo! I am so glad that we had the opportunity to share this time, to share these learning experiences, and to share our wealth of knowledge with each other. I commend you for the work that you're doing. If you need a kick in the pants, I think I can find a size, 10 and a half boot that might help. But if you're already on your way, then you won't need it. I encourage you, area directors, I need your area directors reports. Please, I'm begging you, send them in, get them done. The sooner the better. If you don't know what to do with them, contact me. Everybody should have my email. We did a fantastic job. Please make sure that you enjoy your Saturday, and we will hopefully see you November 21st for our district training sessions, tips and tricks on hybrids, meetup, And new member, what now? Madam District Director, did you have final words?
Yes, just some closing remarks. Remember, this completes our required modules for TI, but we would like to continue offering training for you guys. So please send Carol any ideas of what you feel like you could need more training on so that we can schedule that with that February 6th deck meeting that we have already, because we want to provide you guys what you need. Also, please reach out to your clubs and let them know that the help is there. We'll come in and do pathways trainings. We'll try to pair them up with other clubs if they need roles filled. We'll do whatever they need, but we rely on you guys to tell us what that is. So I appreciate you all coming and everything that you're doing for your clubs, areas, and divisions, and just keep up the good work. And have a great Thanksgiving if we don't see you before then.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.